Your goal is to speak English fluently, but sometimes you're not able to get words out. You get frustrated and overwhelmed because you're not able to organize your thoughts and speak English like you want to. Well, today, my friend, I am going to give you 11 techniques that will help you master English fluency. You ready? Well then, I'm Teacher Eliza. Let's jump right in. The very first technique I want you to follow is writing in English daily. I say this all the time to my students. Again, writing in English daily. If you're watching this video, some of you are listening to it on the podcast. You'll see behind me there are tons of journals and notebooks. Why? Because I write on a regular basis, so I understand the importance of writing daily. When you start writing in English daily, many things are going to happen. Here's the description that breaks this down. You need to keep a journal or a diary in English because it will help you organize your thoughts and apply new vocabulary. You're constantly learning new things. If you watched the lesson from last week where I taught you 7 new English expressions, you could have written those expressions down in your notebook. You have a journal? Or buy a journal and start writing in it on a daily basis. Why is this so beneficial? This is the benefit. You see, this exercise, this practice of writing in an English journal every day, aids in internalizing grammatical structures and expressions, making them more accessible for speaking. Now, you know I don't teach grammar on my channel. I don't teach grammar in my academy. That is something that you have heard me say over and over again. Even though I don't have grammar lessons, my students still improve their grammar. Why? Because they follow these techniques. Techniques just like this one. When you're writing on a regular basis, you're also going to start editing yourself, like, wait a minute. This doesn't look like what I read yesterday. This doesn't read the same way that Eliza's presentations sound. Something's off. And you'll start correcting yourself. This will help you improve your grammar and start using words naturally. So later on, when you go to speak, you'll remember what you wrote. So again, technique number 1. Write in English daily. Technique number 2, speech shadowing. I want you to repeat after me at the same pace. I want you to repeat this. Hey, you look amazing today. Good. One more time. Hey, you look amazing today. Speech shadowing is all about not just repeating the words, but repeating the pace, repeating the inflections. This is going to help you. So here it is. Practice speaking by mimicking or shadowing a native speaker's speech from audio or video resources, trying to match their pronunciation, tone, and pace closely. We're talking about helping you finally master English fluency. Technique number 2 is all about speech shadowing. Here is the benefit. This technique will help you, my friend, improve your accent, intonation, and fluency by training your ears and speech muscles simultaneously. This is why this technique is so important and so powerful. So again, technique number 2, speech shadowing, mimicking someone else. Technique number 3, TED Talks and educational lectures. Again, TED Talks and educational lectures. We're living in a time where information is available to us for free. You can go on YouTube, which is where you're watching this video, and access tons upon tons of videos, including TED Talks and educational lectures. So what you're going to do is watch TED Talks. Why? Watching TED Talks and educational lectures in English exposes you to complex ideas and specialized vocabulary. Remember, your goal is to improve your English fluency. In order to improve your fluency, you have to improve your vocabulary. You have to be exposed to more English. This is a technique that will help you. Here's the benefit. It improves your comprehension of advanced topics and aids in acquiring academic or professional language skills. You're trying to get to the next level, so you have to watch people and listen to people who are at the level you are trying to get to. So again, technique number 3, TED Talks and educational lectures. Technique number 4, creative writing in English. Now, remember, the first technique was about writing in a daily journal in English. Technique number 4 is a little bit different. Technique number 4 is creative writing in English. Let me explain. Engaging in creative writing activities like crafting stories, poems, or blogs in English is different from writing about your daily life in your journal, where you're documenting things that actually happened. Creative writing is all about using your imagination, coming up with interesting stories, or teaching other people by writing a blog, or even writing a poem in English. This technique will stretch your brain in a different way. You're not just documenting your day. Instead, you're coming up with ideas and situations in English. This technique, once again, will help you master English fluency. Here's another benefit. It encourages innovative use of language and deeper engagement with linguistic structures, enhancing expressive capabilities. It will help you express yourself more because you are forcing your brain to pull on all of these things you've learned to make them into something interesting. This technique is going to take your English to the next level. Technique number 5, listening to English audiobooks. Audiobooks are powerful. I have audiobooks on my phone, and it's very convenient to listen to an audiobook while I am either working, cooking, or exercising. You have access to audiobooks, so listen to an English audiobook. Incorporating English audiobooks into your routine allows you to hear complex narratives and dialogue. When you're listening to an audiobook, you're hearing an individual who is a native English speaker. They're not speaking slowly. They're speaking at a regular pace about complex topics. This gives your brain the opportunity to process the information. Listening to audiobooks helps your brain learn to process information, and you will also be able to regurgitate and use the same patterns when you speak English. So again, listening to English audiobooks. What is another benefit? It sharpens your listening skills and introduces you to diverse literary vocabularies and storytelling techniques. You're going to be a better storyteller. You're going to have a more expansive vocabulary. This is why this technique is so important. Now, this is all about using mind maps to organize your thoughts or plan projects in English. I love this technique. This is how I think. This is how I've always thought. Again, this refers to organizing your thoughts before speaking. This refers to having supporting pieces of information for your idea and then speaking. I remember when I was in high school, we did it in college as well, but we did it more in high school. We'd have on a piece of paper a diagram with circles. In the middle would be your main point, On the outside of that bigger circle would be smaller circles with supporting points, reasons, and examples to support your idea. This is a mind map, making sure you have a main idea and then connecting points that support that main idea. Creating mind maps is important. Here's the benefit. The visual and organizational tool not only aids in planning, but also in thinking and brainstorming directly in English, promoting fluency in thought processes. Get a piece of paper, get a notebook, and write out your thoughts. Then create visuals, circles, squares, rectangles, to organize your thoughts. Mind mapping. Game changer. I love this technique. Technique number 9. Practicing with karaoke in English. I almost paused, like, wait a minute, we're going to sing? Practicing with karaoke in English. Let me explain. Singing along to English songs using karaoke videos or apps helps improve pronunciation and rhythm. When you sing a song and you're enjoying it, you're actually improving your pronunciation, following the rhythm. It's a relaxed way of studying English. Here's the benefit. This technique engages listening skills and mimicry in a fun, musical context, enhancing your ability to hear and reproduce sounds accurately. This is a fun way to learn how to master English fluency. Technique number 10. Creating English content. Woo boy, here we go, creating English content. Start a blog, YouTube channel, or podcast in English about your hobbies, your studies, or your daily life. I'm going to pause. You start a YouTube channel, you start a blog, you start a podcast about something you're interested in. I have had students in my academy, Bookish English, who have done this exact thing, started YouTube channels about makeup, started YouTube channels about their travels, started YouTube channels about their English journey. And what happens when you do this? Your English will start to improve even faster. I know it can be a little bit nerve-wracking. You're a little nervous, not sure, but trust me, this technique works. We're talking about improving and mastering English fluency and doing it faster. Here's the benefit. It develops writing or speaking skills while connecting with a broader audience and encouraging regular language use. I got to post a video next week, so I need to prepare. I need to mind map before I record my YouTube video. This technique, creating English content, connects other techniques as well. Start doing it, I'm telling you. Technique number 11. Exploring English literature. Reading classic and contemporary English literature helps you gain exposure to rich language, storytelling techniques, and cultural insights. This is a way, again, for you to enjoy the process of learning English, to expand your vocabulary, and to enhance your skills as it relates to expressing your ideas. The benefit: this builds a deeper understanding of language nuances, historical context, and various literary styles and genres. You're going to expand your horizons. This is what it's all about as you're trying to master English fluency. Remember to put these techniques into practice. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I'll talk to you next time. You still there? You know what time it is? It's story time. Hey, I said it's story time. All right, so I had another story prepared for you, but right at the end of this lesson, I mentioned the technique related to karaoke. So I want to switch the story I was going to tell you and tell you this one. This also happened when I was in South Korea. So I spent almost 10 years in South Korea. During that time, I taught thousands of students, learned how to speak Korean, and also got my master's degree in Oriental painting. Now, working and studying in another language is no easy feat. Doing these things simultaneously, oh my goodness, it will stretch you. You'll realize how much you are capable of. So, I was in this situation, working full-time and studying for my master's degree. It was a very challenging season, a very difficult season of my life. I lived with one of my friends. Her name is Janelli. If you see this, hey girl. We're still very close now. Janelli was my roommate, and we had another friend. We were all good friends and worked together. One evening, Janelli and this other friend said, "Hey Tiff, we want to go to karaoke. Let's go to the Noribang." Noribang in Korean, right? The singing room. And I said, "I can't go because I need to study." They said, "No, come on Tiff, come on. You can come, let's go, let's go. We're going to sing and have a good time. You need to take a break." I said, "No, I have to focus on my studies." They said, "Tiff, come on." And I could see by the look on their faces, I was like, you know what? Let me just take a break tonight, hang out with my friends, and not worry about this. Let me tell you, we had the most fun singing our hearts out at that singing room, at that Noribang, the karaoke place. It was so much fun. It was on a Saturday night, and they invited a few other friends. We just sang and sang. We were sweating, we were dancing, singing. It was so much fun. Fast forward to now again. That was many years ago, but I still talk about that to this day. When I'm on the phone talking to Janelli, I say, "Girl, I'll never forget that night." Because it was a moment when I wanted to be studying, but my friend realized I needed to take a break, relax, and just enjoy life for a moment. And we had a ball. So, I want to encourage you, as you're on this English journey, if there's a moment when you need to take a break, if there's a moment when your family or friends are like, "Hey, we want to spend time with you," don't miss out on those times to share with your family or friends, spending quality time together. You'll remember those times, and you'll still achieve your goals. Because I still graduated, even though I went to that karaoke that night. I hope you enjoyed this story, and I'll talk to you next time. Hi everyone! Today we're going to talk about 9 techniques that you could follow if you are alone and want to practice English speaking. Now, all of these are pretty brilliant in themselves. You're going to enjoy doing these, and the best part is that I'm actually going to practice and show you how to do it. So, for each one of these, we're going to take time to understand them properly and move on. Trust me, all 9 are unique in themselves. You could make a mix and match of whichever works best for you, because the aim is to gain fluency. It doesn't matter how you reach there. Let's start with point number 1. First technique to follow is the mirror technique. I have spoken about this one in my previous videos, but let me show you how to do this now. The good part about this technique is that there is actually a person in front of you. So there is this problem where you do not have anyone with whom to talk or practice your fluency in English. But with the mirror technique, you really have somebody standing right in front of you. I mean, that person is you, of course. but then it is a person, right? You can maintain your eye contact in the mirror with yourself. What to talk about is never a problem. Just ask questions to yourself and then start answering them. Discuss how your day was, what you ate for lunch or dinner, whom all you met during the day. It could be anything. This is also going to help you boost your confidence because, again, you're talking with somebody who's standing in front of you. So, it is going to help you. Of course, it is going to take a little while. No change can happen in just a day or night. It obviously needs practice. And to tell you very frankly about myself, I have practiced this a lot. People might not believe me when I say this, but I have done this. I was desperate to be fluent in English. I have never shied away from accepting this. I've always been desperate to be fluent and confident with my English speaking. It has helped me a lot in my life, by the way. So yes, this was one thing I did a lot, but it was not a technique I was following to improve my English. I was using this as a way of talking with myself. I was just being friends with myself. I was just being expressive about how I was feeling. And this is what I was doing while I was talking in front of the mirror with myself. I was just being friends with myself. I was just expressing my emotions and how I was feeling. Unknowingly, I was subconsciously improving my English while I was doing that. So, this is the first technique that you could follow. Let's move on to the second one now. This one is a craze these days. ChatGPT conversations. This is a brilliant technique and it's new, so it's fun because this is something that you've not done in the past. Let me tell you how to do this. Simply ask ChatGPT to create a conversation in English between two friends, okay? Or between a mother and daughter, or it could be anyone. Just give it 2 characters. For example, you could say, ChatGPT, give me a conversation of 5 minutes length between 2 friends. And then ChatGPT is going to instantly develop a conversation for you. Then, you start practicing those conversations aloud. First, become friend 1, say the sentence, and then become friend 2, speak the sentence. Make sure you do it with all the intonation, articulation, and be very specific. Be clear with your sounds. Say those words in a way that you would say them while actually speaking with a friend. So, yes, get into the character of friend 1, speak those lines, then get into the character of friend 2, speak the lines, and that's how you practice the entire conversation of 5 minutes. Let's move on to method number 3 now. This method involves describing a picture. This can be done in 2 ways. The first way is to go to alanaries.com. We made this tool, and surprisingly, too many people are actually still using it. In the last 2 years, so many people have visited the page and used this page to describe pictures. So it's just very simple. A picture would open up, and you start talking about the picture. You could probably talk about the emotion that you see in the picture, the colors that you see in the picture, about the person, or maybe a ship, a car, or a landscape, whatever's there in front of you. Just start talking about it. It's just a small practice of maybe 3 or 4 minutes, or 2 or 3 minutes, whatever you're comfortable with. So, this is one way you could practice describing a picture. Another way to start describing a picture is not going to the website, but actually just do this like a director of a movie. Look at the picture and ask yourself, what all do I see? I see a camera setup. I see a mic in front of me. I see some curtains. I see a window. I see some trees outside my window. So I could talk about innumerable things that are right there in this frame. Just sit in your room all by yourself and start talking. Who's watching and why do you care? Even if somebody is, you've got to learn, right? You've got to put in an effort. Let's move on to point number 4. The next way to practice your spoken English and your fluency in English is to play role play with yourself. Yes, so assume 2 characters. Let's say there is one character, interviewer, and there is another character, interviewee. Okay? And then you could assume one character, or maybe both the characters, whatever way you're comfortable. If I were you, this is how I would do it. I would first become the interviewer, ask a question to myself, and then become the interviewee and answer to myself. Okay, something like, hey, what's your name? Hi, my name is Alina Rice. So, what interests you in this job? I love this company. Whatever I've heard about this company is so amazing, so I would love to be a part of this organization. What makes you different from others? I'm a YouTuber with 4.5 million subscribers. It makes me a hell of a lot different from others. Okay, I'm just being bad here. Okay, let's move on to point number 5. You get the idea now, right? Okay, so this is how you can practice assuming 2 characters and sit alone. Do it by yourself. You don't need people to practice your spoken English. It's seriously just an excuse you're giving yourself for so many years now. Start doing something different. Stop complaining. That is one shortcut way to success. Point number 5 for you. The next way is reading out subtitles and mimicking them. Let me show you how to do this. So, as you saw, you open TV and you play any English show with subtitles. Now, take the remote in your hand, play a sentence, pause the sentence. Remember, we are not here to watch the TV show and enjoy. We are here to practice our speaking. Okay, so you pause the show every time there is a dialogue or a subtitle on the screen. Pause it. Say those words out. After saying those words, then you play. Then, the screen goes on, and there's another subtitle on the screen. You pause the screen, and you say those words out. It's simple. It's entertaining, because you will be catching on to the story a little bit too. Okay? Try and do it alone, because that way, you'll be able to focus more. And try it with all the emotion in your voice. Do not be robotic. Don't sound like a robot. Sound like a human when you're doing that. Okay, let's move to point number 6. Now, the good part about this technique is that it helps you with your vocabulary, because these are English shows, and they're talking in their language, so you get to learn new words. Another thing is that you would get to practice your pronunciations, because most of the time, we make a lot of mistakes with pronunciations. And when I say pronunciations, I don't just mean a be or a verb. No, I'm not talking about V's and W's. I'm not talking about V's and W's. How words with letter V are pronounced differently from words with letter W, though they sound very similar. No, I'm not talking about those specifications. I'm talking about the actual pronunciation, something like, how humane is different from human. Many people would not understand the difference between the two words, but when you see it on a show, you understand it better. Okay, so you improve your vocab, you improve your pronunciation, and at the same time, there is a certain repetition that will happen in a lot of words that helps you build your vocabulary a lot. Because these spaced repetitions are actually a very good technique to remember good words. It's a technique of pedagogy, which is taught to teach us when you are to become a teacher. This is a technique that is taught to you. No, I never learned it, but I've heard about this. Let's move on to point number 6. Finally, reading aloud. Now, this is something that I've done for years. What do I mean by doing it for years? Did I actually do it in my room? No, but this was something that was done to us in our schools a lot. A lot. Like literally every single day when we were at school, we would practice reading aloud. One child would stand at a time, take the book in hand, and read aloud. And then, after 2 or 3 paragraphs, the child sitting next to her would stand and read aloud. So yes, I was from a girls' school, so yes, it was always a her for us. So yes, that's how we would read aloud, and that helped so much. I was a very good reader, by the way. Whenever I would read, I would always make sure that I sounded the best in the class. I would always make sure that that was something personal. I was taking it up as a project. I love doing that. I just wanted to be perfect, and I would always do it with a lot of emotion. If I'm reading something, I would make sure that the emotion of the text is delivered to everybody who's listening to me or reading at the same time with me in the class. So that's something that you would also need to do. Consider this to be an English gym. You visit the gym to make your body, you make your muscles there, you pull weights. Yeah, this is something that you would do as an English gym. Just pick up a book. Heavy weightlifting, huh? Pick up that book and start reading aloud. It's as simple as that. There's nothing for me to teach in here, honestly. It's going to help you so much. It's going to help you with everything that is involved in English. Your grammar, your reading, your listening. I mean, because when you're reading out loud, you're also listening to yourself. So, reading, listening, speaking, everything getting practiced at the same time. Try it. And then there's so much fun in a book. I don't know if you like reading books or not, but if you're not reading them, I'm telling you, read. It's important. It's fun. It's much better than watching Instagram all day. So start reading a little more, okay? So, just a few minutes in a day when you're reading, read aloud. And if it doesn't help you, tell me. You tell me, and I'll change my name. No, that's not gonna happen. Let's move on to point number 7. You can talk to an app like Talk English. There is this application. You just search English Conversation app on your App Store or your Play Store, and you'll find the app. And there are recorded conversations on this app. It's very good. I've practiced it. People in my family practiced it. It's very good. Just use the simple app. It has a tremendous rating on the App Store and has millions of reviews. Yeah, it's very good. So, just open a conversation, okay? And press record. Then one character, the operator, is going to speak, and the other character, the operator, is going to wait for you to speak. You play the part of the other character, and then at the same time, simultaneously, you're recording yourself. Okay? And once the conversation is over, you can listen to yourself and give yourself feedback. So, that's how the app works. It's very good. If there are millions of reviews, you can imagine how many people are using these apps every day, and it's definitely helping them. Otherwise, why would they use it? Okay, so let's move on to point number 8. The next one is translation. Just take up any song. Just translate this. Just translate this in English, okay? And you can do this 10 times in a day. You don't need to devote an hour to this. Just sit and play a song in your head and start translating it. I've done these things. I don't know what all I've done in the past. I've done so much to improve my English. So, yes, it did not come naturally to me. I don't come from a family that speaks in English. I come from a very average middle-class background, very average middle-class family, and we spoke in Hindi, and we are very proud of Hindi. We love Hindi. But English is important, so we had to learn. So me, my sisters, everybody practiced, and we practiced hard, and it is benefiting all of us. So yes, 2 of my sisters could clear IELTS, and they're settled in Canada with their PRs. Both of them have their PR now. So all of this was possible, and thanks to their IELTS score. An IELTS score is important, and English is important for your IELTS score. So, is that the idea, right? Let's move on to point number 9. The last point on the list is talking to yourself. Yes, you talk to yourself. Narrate whatever happened during the day. Talk to yourself about how you're feeling in that moment, or something that you aspire to be, or something that you aspire to do in life. What you want to do for your parents, for your family. What kind of a partner you want to have. Whom do you want to marry? Anybody you like? Anybody you're in love with? Just talk about anything. There's so much to talk about in a day. So yes, if you find it difficult to find a topic, ask ChatGPT to create a list of topics for you. She's very good with all this stuff. Okay, no, I know it's not supposed to be a she. I just like addressing her as a she. It's a personal choice. So that's all about it in the video today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I loved shooting this one for you, and I know you would say, "Man, this is something that you say literally in every video's end." I know, but what can I do? I actually do enjoy shooting for you. Thank you very much. I'll see you again soon. Bye. By the way, I will watch this video. Most probably, I'm gonna be in Munnar Kerala. See you. Bye.